This lesson's objective is to factor a trinomial in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. We've already learned to factor x squared plus bx equals c when the coefficient in front of the x squared was understood to be a 1. However, this time there's an a here, which represents the fact that the coefficient is going to be greater than 1. So we have ax squared plus bx equals c. Let's look at the steps that will help us factor this trinomial. Step 1. Find the product of a and c. You simply multiply a times c. Step 2. You're going to find the factors of the product of a and c that combine to equal b. In other words, what you get after you multiply a and c, you're going to find the factors of those numbers that you can combine to equal b. Step 3. You're going to rewrite the problem using the correct factors that you've chosen. And then finally, step 4, you're going to group the terms and then factor out the greatest common factor. Let's look at an example. This example says to factor 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. So step number 1. A times c, or 2 times 12, equals 24. Step 2 is to find the factors of 24 that will equal 11. Here's the factors of 24. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. We're going to choose 3 times 8 because 3 and 8 will combine to give you 11. Now, the third step, we're going to break down this 11x into 8x and 3x and rewrite it as 2x squared plus 8x plus 3x plus 12. Now, finally, step 4, we're going to combine the first two terms, 2x squared plus 8x, and the last two, 3x plus 12. Then we're going to factor the greatest common factor in each one of these groupings. In this first one, we take out a 2x, and that leaves us x plus 4. In this one, we factor out a 3, and that leaves us x plus 4. So you see our common binomial is x plus 4. We're going to multiply x times 4 times the 2x and the 3, 2x plus 3 times x plus 4. And we have completely factored this trinomial. Let's do some practice problems together. Practice number 1. 4x squared plus 16x plus 15. First step is to multiply 4 times 15. 4 times 15 equals 60. So now we need to find the factors of 60, and there are quite a few. 1 times 60, 2 times 30, 3 times 20, 4 times 15, 5 times 12, and 6 times 10. Looking at these factors, we're going to choose the factors that we can combine to get 16, and we're going to need to use 6 times 10. So now let's rewrite it with those factors. We're going to bring down the 4x squared plus 6x plus 10x and then plus 15. So we've rewritten it. Now it's time to group our factors. We're going to group the first two, 4x squared plus 6x and 10x plus 15. Now we're going to factor out the greatest common factors. 4x squared plus 6x both share a 2x, and we're left with 2x squared plus 3. I'm sorry, that's 2x plus 3. We don't need the squared. We factor one of those x's out. And then here, the 10x plus 15, we're going to factor out a 5, and we're left with 2x plus 3. All right. So we are going to combine the 2x and the 5 and write that as 2x plus 5, And then we're going to multiply that times our common binomial of 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3. And that is your answer. Right there. All right, another practice problem. This one's going to be a little different in that our b is a minus instead of a positive. Again, our first step is to find the multiples of multiply a times c, which is 8 times 5, and that is 40. So let's find the multiples of 40. 1 times 40, 2 times 20, 4 times 10, and of course 5 times 8. Now we're going to choose 4 and 10. Now we need 4 and 10 to combine to give us negative 14, but when we multiply them we need it to be positive 8. What that means is both the 4 and the 10 are going to need to be negative, because a negative 4 times a negative 10 gives us the positive 40. But then when we combine a negative 4 and a negative 10, we get negative 14. Let's go ahead and rewrite it that way. 5x squared minus 10x minus 4x plus 8. Now we need to group our terms. We're going to group 5x squared minus 10x and minus 4x plus 8. And let's see what we can factor out. The greatest common factor of 5x squared minus 10x is going to be a 5x, and we're going to multiply that times x minus 2. And we're going to take out a minus 4 out of minus 4x plus 8 and be left with x minus 2. The minus 4 times minus 2 gives us, or the negative 4 times negative 2 gives us positive 8. Now you see your common binomial, and we're going to take 5x minus 4 and multiply that times the common binomial of x minus 2. And again, that is your answer. All right, let's try another practice problem. It's a little bit different. We have a 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. We have a negative b, and we also have a negative c. If the c is negative, that means our terms are one is going to need to be positive and one is going to need to be negative. Let's start though with our first step and multiply a times c, which is 2 times 15, and that equals 30. So let's look at our factors of 30. We have 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10. And you can see that we can combine 3 and 10 to get 7 by subtracting 3 from 10. But be careful, know that we need the b to be a negative 7. That means our 10 will be negative and our 3 will be positive. Let's go ahead and write it that way. 2x squared minus 10x plus 3x minus 15. Now let's group our terms. 2x squared minus 10x and 3x minus 15. And let's factor out our greatest common factors and see if we have a common binomial. Common factor of 2x squared minus 10x is going to be 2x That will leave us with x minus 5. And we're going to factor a 3 out of the 3x minus 15, and that will leave us with x minus 5. Your common binomial is x minus 5. So we are going to use 2x plus 3 times x minus 5. That's your answer. Okay, have one last example. The difference in this example is that our a is a negative. Negative 2x squared minus 15x minus 7. Different ways to do this. Let's go ahead and factor out the negative. Let's factor out a negative 1 and out of the entire trinomial. That will make this a positive 2x squared plus 15x plus 7. Now we're just going to work with this trinomial, and then we will carry the negative 1 throughout the entire problem and plug it back in at the end. So our steps, step 1 tells us to multiply 2 times 7, a times c, which equals 14. Now let's find the factors of 14 that will combine to give us 15. We have 1 times 14, and you should already see that that is going to be our factors that will combine to give us 15. Positive 15. So let's rewrite it using those factors. Again, we're just working with the 2x squared plus 15x. I'm sorry. Need an eraser. 2x squared plus 14x plus x, and then plus 7. Okay? We got to remember that we've taken out the negative 1. Okay, let's group our terms. 2x squared plus 14x and x plus 7. We can factor out a greatest common factor of 2x, and that will leave us with x plus 7. And here we have x plus 7. If we can say it like this, we can factor out a plus 1, and we're left with the same thing, x plus 7, because 1 times x is x, and 1 times 7 is 7. So what we have is our common binomial of x plus 7, and we have our 2x and our plus 1, so we are going to write 2x plus 1 times x plus 7, and then don't forget we need to multiply all of this by negative 1, and that will be your final answer. Negative 1 times 2x plus 1 times x plus 7, and that is our final example.